Time to suspend your disbelief once again. Welcome back, everyone. This is your goddess Cerebine, bringing you once again back into the world of In Other Waters. I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves and making sure you enjoy your time listening here. I am exhausted because I am pre-recording because I'm going to be busy all of tomorrow, and I didn't realize I'd be as busy as things are going to end up being. So, hope you enjoy my insanity. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy. Oh, oh damn, we're blocked in here. Alright. Apparently we got a link and get on that. Or maybe we can't. Uh-oh. Are we stuck? Hmm. Uh... Nope, that did not do it. Can I throw it all the way out here? No. Where can we go? Oh, yes, we could go up here. I am just crazy. I don't know why it spawned us back at the bottom, but we'll leave. It is the same tile, at least. We can go further up? No, we can't. I don't know what's going on with that. Bright petals. These bright, wide petals appear to be photosynthetic plants. Oh, these beautiful plants. Single petals shifting in sunlight. Let's start logging data on them. Yep. Sounds like a good plan. Feels good to be out in sunlight again, that much is for sure. We can sample this. Let's head east along the finger of the reef. The transponder is at the tip. Unknown plant, we will take you. Oh, the sounds of this game are lovely. Stalk barrier, stalk colonies twisted itself tightly across the gap in the rocks. Could they be protecting something? Still hands. The fractured outcrops all around break up the worst of the northern current, protecting the sandy shelf. Bright petals. While each plant seems to have a single wide petal, they form together, forming fields of blooms, all angled towards the sun. Oh, that would be an interesting, like almost like the terracotta roof tiles. I don't know why I went that route, but that's what I imagined them. You're not going to protect nothing from me. You're silly if you think you can. Exposed roots. Where the rock shelf has fallen away into the rift, the roots of the canopy above have been exposed. We could sample here. That sounds like a plan. We have so many samples we need to pick up. Oh, full inventory. Worst case situation, I can drop some shrill sacks. Did see there was another way here. Yep. Broken gully. The outcrops on the shelf are cut through with huge cracks, as if they were shattered somehow. What could have done this? A ship? Maybe? Bright petals, another one of those. The petals seem to shimmer as they twist and open. It's difficult to tell if this is involuntary or part of the plant's own movement. Stalk canopy. The coloration of these canopies is much lighter than the other stalks. They glow pale yellow in the light of Gliese. 667 cc's. 3 suns. Oh, this planet's got 3 suns. No wonder it's all sea life. Reef stalks. Alright. Stalks have grown across the gully, reconnecting the two No huge pieces of rock that looked like they must have been on once. No. Gotta burn another shrill sack. Another one of you, stalk canopy. High up in the wide canopy, I can see that the stalks are twisted around strange ribbed growths. What are they holding up there? Who knows? Broken boulder, stress marks can still be seen across the edge of this huge rock, but it remains silent about its own history. Bright petals. On some petals there is a thick clump of pollen on the lower part. Wonder if this is how this is dispersed. It seems too heavy to float away. Oh, so they must have a pollinator of some kind. Signal stalk, yay! I can always use more of those. The stalk looks silently out over the deep rift. Wonder if Minea looked over the same view with the different eyes. I do not know. Looks like there's no way to continue there. Signal stalks. Signal stalk. Wow, 2 signal stalks. Let's do a harvest. And I'll swing back to go the other way. Yeah. I was like, oh, was my inventory not filled after all? Slash stalk. This bubble-coated stalk has large gashes in its side. It seems to be shriveling away. Its exposed tissue would be easy to sample. Oh, of course. Well, we have to head that way now. Alright, now the question just becomes, what do we get rid of? Shrill sack, obviously. Strong current. Across this wide rift is the tall rock walls of the reef's second finger can be seen. What lies inside of them, I wonder? Yeah, there's no way we're going that way. The canopy has many gaps between its higher stalks, as if something has fallen out or been removed from them. Interesting. Signal stalk samples? Of course there was 3. Well, we'll be fine with 2. So the spores catchers can swim across this current. Cool. I just hope I don't need any shrill sacks. I probably will, knowing my luck. But we can hope. Table stalk. Towering canopies of the stalk and I've named these table stalks after the table corals they remind me of. I'll log the notes back in the base. Twined around the ribbed growths, they pulse as their spores systematically open and close. Interesting. Stalk structure. This towering canopy of woven stalks pulsates in the soft current, the sunlight slipping through the gaps in its branches. Cool. Oh, this would be so cool to see. Shimmering blooms. Wide single-petal plants that come... Oh, I'm going to name these plants shimmer blooms, for the way they catch the sunlight. It's a beautiful little name. I wish I could share these discoveries with Minea. Still so much to say. Yeah, they're definitely an X. They cut that wide single-petal plants that come in a variety of hues. They appear to be primarily photosynthetic and produce a heavy, furry-looking pollen. Bright petals in this line of the part of the reef, shimmering and swaying, parting easily as I pass among their delicate forms. Looks like that's the way to go. Oh, there's another waypoint. Another sampling? Okay. Okay, so... Reef cap. Domed mushroom-like stalks, which appear to support with their strong resemblance to terrestrial mushrooms. I'm going to call these reef caps. Domed mushroom-like stalks which appear to support the struggling colonies around them, with a supply of special spores. Alright, so. Thriving colony fed by spores shielded by a colony of stalks. This part of the reef seems to have fostered the ideal conditions for its own survival. Alright, what is here? Bright pollen. Is that what I have here? Yeah, that's just more bright pollen. Alright, I'm fine leaving that, though I feel like that might be useful. Is that another way station ahead? Yeah, that's what I thought. Minea must have built them all across the reef, yeah. At the center of this shelf is a beautiful clearing, screened from currents and predators. No wonder Minea set up a way station here. Yeah. Yep, looks like we'll be able to fast travel to this location. In the scattered shadows of golden canopies and knee-deep in shimmering petals, this way station sits silently. Okay, open up the terminal. Let's see what data we can scrape from this. Place. Terminal available. Minea, no. Last access history cleared. Download log. Yes and no. Map data. Sync complete. Data released to consoles. The log suggests Minea was using this as some kind of staging ground for expeditions over the drop-off. Okay. She was looking for something out in the ocean, something deep, from the descents she logged here. Oh. Is this going to be a Subnautica situation? Minea doesn't do things at random. The way station's the research base. This is calculated. Alright. I feel like we're already 10 steps behind there, and we're barely even started. Yep, sounds like it. Alright. Let's get to the soup transponder. It isn't far from here. Yes, but I have no inventory space. So I'm gonna... if we head straight north to the shelf's edge, it should be there. Yes, I have no inventory room, though, hun. Quest retrieval. Oh, yes. I am enjoying well, I was enjoying a hot cocoa, but I've also got myself a water because I've already finished the hot cocoa. 4.2 hours trip back from there. Alright, sample store. Because, my goodness, we loaded the hell up. So many different things. Is that just me or did I get brighter? Alright. Sample analysis time. Table stock. Signal stock. Shimmer blooms. Reef cap. And stalk roots. Reef stalk taxonomy expanded. Oh, 1 second. I'm gonna do one thing and then I'll be reading the taxonomies. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Let's get into it. I've just been having way too much to drink. Reef stalks. Plus my tongue piercing's still in, so I'm already getting a bit of a sore tongue and just need a little break. Alright, so let's get to the reef stalks. Close analysis of stalk root network reveals something surprisingly. The root networks are in fact part of a symbiote, a different fungal species entirely, which exists within the stalk bodies. The fungal symbiote provides a carbon exchange network which runs throughout the bedrock of the reef, connecting all colonies in a single web. This symbiote also produces the spores which the stalks use to communicate, but those spores are edited by the stalks themselves to act as reproductive agents, information carriers, and chemical delivery systems. If the stalks are able to edit the genetic signatures of these spores and their parent species, their intelligence and complexity must be way beyond what I previously theorized. Close analysis of the stalk spore's language could reveal an entire corpus of communications. Are there stalk jokes, stalk histories, or even stalk literatures? Damn, that would be interesting. Now, time to see these. Oh yeah, that would look so cool to swim past. This is just a reef, standard reef stalk. Lichal growths, because lichen is everywhere, amazing. Right. Rising spores. Chitin plate boundaries. Dermal study, so dermis is the skin of it. But, yeah. Input bore. So pores come in and pores shoot out, and they're different sizes depending on the need. Makes sense. After all, you don't exactly need a big barrel to shoot something out of. Whereas sometimes you need an entire barnyard to shoot at. Alright. Signal stalk. Chemical analysis of a signal stalk tissue sample has confirmed the presence of yeast-like fungus. A large amount of ethanol saturated in the tissue itself. This prompts a rethink of why many creatures target the hard-to-get signal stalks as a foodstuff. While I initially theorized it was due to their role as a protector to the stalk colonies, the significant presence of ethanol in signal stalk tissue means most creatures would feel the effects of the alcohol consumed, and may get a buzz from grazing on signal stalks. This, in moderation, would be favorable, even enjoyable effect for the creatures, leading to them repeatedly targeting signal stalks. If I remain stranded on Gliese 667cc for long enough, I may make use of this particular biological property of myself. A natural source of alcohol. That's cool. Oh, wow. Hell yeah. I know these are just, like, simple sketchable. Some of these are simple sketches, but it's still so cool to see. Shrill sacks catch. Subsidiary stalks. Release shrill sack. Bubbles. They look like frog eggs. Upper section. Sensory growth, so, yeah. Got the sensory organs on top. Gas vents underneath the shrill sac, or where the shrill sacs form, I'm presuming. That's fascinating. I wonder if the shrill sac's an accidental production or an intentional one. It seemed intentional, so I'm gonna put it on there. Table stalk. Got an update on their behavior. Pale yellow canopies from many stalks entwined together, which reach impressive heights. Table stalks are part of the reef's many interlocking species of stalks, though these individuals can only be found in the eastern reef. They tower over other creatures, providing dappled shade for the life that grows around them. One of the notable features of the table stalk is the rhythmic opening and closing of their pores, which provide a steady flow of water beneath their canopies. This seems to be highly beneficial for the growth of other species. And with most table stalks being surrounded by many types of stalks and other species entirely, notable ball-shaped growths of different sizes which sit high on the table stalk's canopies. Sampling this might help get a better understanding of the table stalks. Analysis of the table stalk root shows a number of minerals not associated with stalk growth being extracted from the bedrock. Do the table stalks need these minerals to survive, or are they using them for some other purpose? A cross-section of the root shows that a central chamber typical of the carbon transfer system seen in the other stalks. But unlike those stalks, table stalks have many subsidiary chambers, like a bundle of wires, each carrying a particular cocktail of mineral compounds. These secondary roots are not drawing up large are not drawing up large amounts of these materials, but just traces. But why? Perhaps there is some connection between those growths and the upper canopies of the table stalks? They are well secured by the stalk's tight binding, but perhaps we can find one that's been dislodged. Yeah, and we need more info to make any theories on that. That's cool. So table stalks are storing something. Are they going to be? But they're not actively acquiring it. Interesting. Reef caps. Large domed stalks, which, like terrestrial mushrooms, release spores from the gills on the other side of the cap. I love mushrooms. Mushrooms are so cool. In the wider stalk ecology, reef caps appear to play the role of emergency response, growing in areas where stalk colonies are failing or heavily predated upon, and proceeding to shower them with spores. However, these spores seem to differ from those released by other species of stalk, in that they quickly dissolve when expelled. Analyzing these spores is important to better understanding the reef cap's role. Are they reproductive spores tasked with aiding newly seeded stalks to existing colonies? Are nutrient spores intended to boost the health of dying or diseased individuals? Soothe spores get their the name by which I have come to call the reef cap spores. Don't seem to be spores at all. Unlike the modified spores of other stalks, these particularly don't have any reproductive capacity. Instead, they resemble endospores, dormant bacteria reduced to dried husks, which can survive for hundreds of years in toxic environments without nutrients. Endospores are incredibly tough and high in calcium, and when released by reef caps, they dissolve and transfer this calcium to the surrounding environment, where it is absorbed by local reef stalks. This windfall of calcium, granted by the smooth spore. I'm biting my tongue several times. I need to take a breather already. But yeah, that's one way to produce a lot of bioavailable calcium in a projectile form. This windfall of calcium granted by the cap soothe spores seems to allow stalks to augment their internal signaling and toughen their membrane to protect from predators, allowing them to recover rapidly. But the question remains, how do the reef caps produce these endospores? I've got no theories on that. Sorry. Our first plant. Hell yeah. Shimmer blooms. Shimmer blooms are single-petaled plants found primarily in sheltered waters of the East Reef. As they produce pollen, as well as photosynthesize, I've classified them. The visible portion of these plants is petals, though they could be thought of as leaves, serving both functions simultaneously. Shimmer blooms can be green, like most terrestrial plants. However, they can also be found in yellow, red, and purple in color. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name and the process, but purples typically, if I remember correctly, they produce ATP directly rather than a glucose or sugar. Whereas cyan and green both produce. Well, at least that's when it comes to the real world. There's quite a lot of different photosynthetic pigments that could possibly be gone through. Some of them are truly just fascinating and different. Makes you wonder why plants haven't evolved a black one, which will just absorb a lot of different lights. Though, in truth, I do actually already know the answer to that, and that is because that plant physically cannot go that fast. They will get injured by excessive sunlight, and if the reaction goes too quickly, they can actually burn up their poor leaves. Scientists I did read, it's been years ago, so I'm probably misquoting it, but scientists did manage to get plants to stop the part of the process where they halt photosynthesis so they can repair. And they were able to get it to grow faster, but it used a lot more nutrients from the soil. Oh, it quickly replenished it. If I remember my reading correctly, it's been so long. Found yellow, red, and or purple in color. So yeah, I've personally seen synthesizers of all 3 of those colors. Yeah, they're quite cool. Oh, all 4 colors: green, yellow, red, purple. The image of a patch of blooms is a beautiful one, and that much I can completely understand. I'm presuming they get this from, like, bacteria that they absorb that photosynthesize or something like that. No, that'd be more of a lichen. But what else would explain the varied colors? Unless they just intentionally chose their own pigments. Or they could be like tulips. Or was it tulips that actually choose it depending on how much stress they go through from, like, different viruses and stuff? Or is it tulips need the virus in order to be different colors, where the virus causes the color? I cannot remember. The image of a patch of blooms is beautiful one, and they shift in the soft currents as they often seem to shimmer. The lower part of their single petal features many small stamens, which produce a fluffy, clumped pollen, and also this pollen may have some insight into their life cycle, which we have already acquired. Laboratory analysis of shimmer bloom pollen reveals it to be heavy, sticky substance atypical of for waterborne distribution. Unlike on terrestrial plants like seagrass, whose pollen is distributed by water currents and is therefore long and light, shimmer bloom's spherical heavy pollen seems intended to resist distribution by current, and must instead be distributed by creatures who visit the blooms. So something, I'm trying to remember what it is. I think snapdragons do it, or is it orchids? One of the two, who I believe actually sticks an entire, like, ball of pollen to pollinators when they try to pollinate it. And they are big for plants. And that lets them get out a lot of pollen to everything the pollinator continues to pollinate from there forward. The reason for this may be the shimmer bloom's tendency to grow in exposed shelves or pillars, which would risk weight water-transported pollen from being sucked into the deep ocean, rather than distributed to viable sites. By relying on creature transport, bloom pollen has a better chance of reaching another sunlit shelf or pillar. Yep, that would do it. No bacteria yet. Alright, I guess checking the dive map. Oh. So we missed something further down there, something there, and something there. Table-stalk, sing-stalk, and reef cap tissue. Alright. I'm guessing we're going to get an upgrade here, which is going to make traveling a little easier in these currents. Or at least I can hope. Alright. Split outcrop. Like many of the large rocks on this shelf, this outcrop has been split, creating a passage to the east and another to the north. Yep, we're going to be heading north. That is a wrecked ship. Open passage. The swirl sand suggests the passage leads to the reef edge and an open water beyond. Pulsing growth surrounded by shimmering petals. This pulsing stalk pumps out spores. Do these carbon-rich particles feed the plants too? Yeah, we already figured that out. I'm gonna grab it just because my inventory is empty. Probably should have grabbed some shimmer shrill sacks while I was there. Makes me wonder what the shelf life of them are. Eastern passages. The shattered edge of the reef curves away to the east. The currents fade and the static water grows warmer. Warmer, you say? exposed clearing. The side of the fingers feels exposed. But thanks to its current splitting outcrops, it remains in a bubble of calm. Yeah, indeed it is. Open ocean. At this tip of the water shelf, the outcrop falls away, made to reveal an unrestricted view of the vast ocean. It is both terrifying and beautiful. Oh yes, without question, the open ocean is a... I see something at the edge. Yes, I do too. Is that... the suit? Sure hope not. Minea's suit. An open, empty, half sunk in the sand. Why would she leave it here? More importantly, where did she go? Damn it. It's definitely Minea's suit, but no Minea. Hopefully that means they're alive. Surely she isn't... Okay, let's not jump to conclusions. Want to take a look at this? Probably a suit that she's destroyed by constant deep dives, because that can do some serious work. It can't have been here long. Most of it is still in good condition, but how did it get out here? That is a question, for sure. There's no evidence of injury. A malfunction, perhaps? What do you think? Maybe? But then where is she? Could she have just swum to the surface? We're 20 meters down. Did she intend us to find it? Minea, what did you get yourself into here? If that it does mean meters. 20 meters is not impossible. It's better equipped than our suit, but the seals of art have started decaying. What's this? Minea has rigged up some kind of custom propulsion system, probably to deal with the currents. Oh. We can use this. We'll need a power source. It won't run off the suit system. Seems like she fashioned some kind of microbial fuel cell. We'll need to recreate it if that's what we want to use. Okay, let's get this back to base so I can take a better look at it. No. No. Minea. You better not have done something stupid. I didn't come all the way out here to bury you. No, I don't think I did. Why would I be here then? Elvery. Take a breather. Okay. Call for drone pickup. You're alright then. Elvery. Retrieval complete. Drone ready. "20 meters? That's rough for human's body to go. Not impossible if you got some back with me? Yeah. Good to hear. Let me update you. I spent the last few hours working on Minea's suit. Bad news is, the majority of it is unusable. Fortunate. Probably stress test the hell out of it. Apart from that, the propulsion system Minea pulled together. But we're going to need a power source. Minea's suit log mentions her building a fuel cell using microbes from the Western Reef. But they don't say much else. She's been incredibly secretive while she was here. Covering her tracks across the reef as if someone was watching. Or she's just... paranoid? I don't think that would be the case. I don't know. Minea knew I was tricky, complicated, but not paranoid. Yeah, I could already get a feel for that. That's not paranoia that caused them to bury their path. Either way, if we want to recreate our propulsion system, we need those microbes. When you're ready, let's head to the Western Stock Force and see what we can find. Crew Terminal, Elvery Voss. Secure Protocol Oversight active. Personal Log 01. 2216, Elvery Voss. Minea is gone, and what she's left behind one hell of a mess. The space has fallen apart, canalized to build way stations out in the ocean. The communications array sliced away, life support failing. Where did she even commandeer this research base from? There's no way back I would have supplied it willingly after what she did to them. What did she call me out here for? Did she witness her disappearance, or did she simply want me to encounter, as she did, the impossible life of this ocean? How could you have gone ignored for hundreds of years of exploration and conquest? There are too many questions to even begin with. All I can do is keep an account of what happens here. So if I can't answer these questions, someone else might. It'll be weeks, maybe months, until the next ship passes close enough to pick up my shuttle transponder. Until then, I am alone. This place is unbelievably important. Our first contact with life beyond Earth, but something else is happening here too, and I need to know what it is. That much is for sure. How on Earth did they miss? So they've explored space for thousands of years and have not discovered a single life-bearing world. And there's this one hidden. Oversight, all privacy protocols revoked. Oh, you naughty AI. Minea's suit, open to the ocean, empty. What has she done? Is she trying to reconcile the Minea I once knew with the evidence in front of me? I'm trying hard to reconcile the Minea I once knew with the evidence in front of me. When I met her on Kepler 62F, she was intense and quiet, but calculated, intelligent. She wasn't someone to take unnecessary risks, to leap into the unknown. At first I found her impossibly intimidating. Her experience working as a biologist far outstripped my own. Bakal brought me to this site as a consultant to examine her discoveries, but I felt like I was the one under an examination. My voice is just breaking up so bad right now. Goodness. The base was much like this one, a smaller, older model sunk in the subglacial ocean. Someone might think a relationship was inevitable given those intimate conditions, but it wasn't the base that brought me to her. It was the intensity. Over the few years since I've tried not to dwell on what happened on Kepler 62F, but being here, living where she has lived, following her scattered steps, it's impossible to not remember. Damn. Feel bad for Ellery. And also, yes, in some intensely focused. Oh goodness, we're life support is still working at 75% efficiency. That's not good. Dive map's been updated. Taxonomy is fully functional. Med subject non-active. I like how we have a med station, but thankfully we've not needed to use it. Generators still run at 34%. Observation deck. Solar system required crew inactive. Comms damaged. Automatic repair not possible. Offsite assistance needed. Contact back home. Alright. Dive map. Signal priority. In Minea's notes under microbial fuel cell design, she mentioned sourcing 4 microcolonies from this part of the reef. I think I've got all 4 of those. But it wants me to head over there, so I'll head over there. Some sort of microbial fuel cell. Which, if carefully done, that could be infinite power, pretty much. If you're careful. Breeding algae just to use them as power is incredibly viable, from what I've read. I mean, you can technically grow fuel straight out of corn, which is more than easy enough to grow. And you can also just make fuel out of wood, if you're careful enough. You can make wood gas, and that's actually quite decent fuel. Let's grab some of you. I feel like I'll need it. Yeah, I still have those in my inventory. Doubt I'll use them, but better to have it on you. The map's data mentions a microbe which only occurs in the stalk forest. I'm guessing it's going to be in one of the bloats. If we can find 4 healthy colonies, don't make an idea basis for the propulsion system of the propulsion system's fuel cell. What are those strange inflated stalks? Yeah. This is what's going to be useful to us. They look like this sporing growths we found in the eastern caves, but there's something wrong with them. Yeah, we've already gone through that. We need to break them open somehow so we can sample the microbes colonies inside. Yep. Let's see if they respond to the shrill sacs. Yep. Only one? I'll just... Got one, but the clouds of microbes these stalks release are incredibly toxic. Yes, they are. And my goal is to keep you alive. The suit is having to flush its vents with oxygen to protect me. They've lost a lot of reserve oxygen. Not really. Just loses it very quickly. We're going to need aid to be fast when sampling these bloats. Let's go to another one of the colonies. On it. Be careful, I don't want to run out of oxygen out here. Thankfully, shrill sacs are a good source of oxygen. Yeah, I know, I'm overdoing it on the shrill sacs, but it's how you gotta be careful in games like this. Yeah, game. Great, now we have plenty of these microbial colonies. But where did this infection come from? The stalks seem to be struggling to deal with it. Or is it just part of their expected life cycle? What do you think? Yeah, it is, but we've already figured it out. Maybe you're right. It's impossible to know without further study. There, getting out of there. So it's not drained. Either way, let's bring these back to the base as soon as we can. Time to build up an engine. We can analyze these samples there. Call for pickup. Alright, I'm gonna get one more just because I like having still one at the base. I know there's one at the base, but I'm a completionist. What can I say? Alright, call for pickup. Downtime, only 3.6 hours. Dive maps online. Hey, are you ready to get back to work? Yep. Great, because I've had a very productive few hours. Lucky? I've not felt productive in a while. I've been working on these propulsion system. I've used those 4 microbial samples to grow a new colony in the lab. Then I transferred it to a secure containment capsule, nice and snug. So yep, we are growing our own fuel, hell yeah. I followed what I could from Minea's notes on building a microbial fuel cell. It's all loaded into the suit. The MFC fed directly from our reserve oxygen supply. Oh, so we burn through oxygen faster. Now we just need to take the suit out for a dive to test it. Oh, yeah. It's going to take plenty of oxygen to fuel the colony, so bring any samples that help out. Oh, yeah. Make sure not to take any we haven't put through analysis in the lab first. Good idea. I don't want to burn through hours of research material just to get at a power boost. Very much, yeah. The propulsion system will let us pass through strong currents and move more quickly, at the cost of oxygen use. We should be able to cut across the rift north of the way station and see what the bloom finally is. Ready when you are. Never ready. But I'll say that we are. That's me interesting. No, I'm gonna toss these in here. Shrill sacks. I mean, yeah. Shrill sacks are useful as emergency oxygen. Alright, so it wants us to dive north. Oh, there is quite the expanse out here. Oh, goodness. Signal. With Minea's propulsion system hooked up to the suit, we should be able to cross the rift and head into the bloom. I think I'm gonna just save that for next time, though. My voice is not the happiest with me. After all, I did record all my episodes for tomorrow already, so... Lots of talking. Lots of talking. Indeed. Make sure to take good care of yourselves. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you when I see ya. Take care. Bye for now.